Amoka the Orphan. In a village called Ojo, there lived a young girl called Amoka. Amoka was the only child of her late parents. Amoka lost her parents at 14 age. She has no one else but her grandmother. Her grandmother, Mama Nkechi, became her new guardian. She was old and poor, but she loved Amoka deeply. Mama Nkechi sold roasted maize by the roadside, and sometimes, she made and sold palm oil. Amoka helped as much as she could, fetching water, washing dishes, and picking palm fruits. She never complained. The villagers often said, that girl is strong like her mother. But behind her smile, Amoka missed her parents every day. School was the only place where Amoka felt a little joy. She loved learning and always sat in front of the class. Her teacher, Mr. Obina, noticed her sharp mind and kind heart. One day, he called her after class. Amoka, you are very smart. Don't stop dreaming, no matter what life brings. Amoka smiled shyly and nodded. She began to dream of becoming a nurse. She had seen how the village nurse helped people when they were sick. She wanted to be like that, to help, to heal, to give hope. But life in Ojo was not easy for orphans. Some children teased her, calling her child of the dead. Others avoided her, thinking she was unlucky. Amoka would sometimes sit under the mango tree near the school and cry quietly. One evening Amoka sat outside the compound to study her book. She remembered her late parents and started crying. Mama Nkechi always noticed. Tears do not mean you are weak, she would say. Even rivers cry when the rain falls too much. Amoka held on to her grandmother's words like gold. They kept her strong. 2 years later a great sickness came to Ojo. It was a strange fever that made people weak and cough for days. The small village clinic was full. Amoka helped Nurse Ede carry water, wash clothes, and even comfort crying children. She learned how to take temperatures and rub people's backs to ease their pain. Nurse Ada was amazed. This girl has a nurse's heart. One of the patients said that week. Amoka made a decision, no matter how long it took, she would become a nurse. But trouble came when Amoka turned 17. Mama Nkechi fell ill. Her bones ached, and her breathing became slow. Amoka took care of her every day, fetching herbs, cooking thin soups, and sitting by her side all night. The money they had saved was gone in a month. Amoka stopped going to school so she could stay with her grandmother. Neighbors helped with small things, but no one could do what Amoka did. One night, Mama Nkechi held her hand and said, "You have a mother's heart, my child. Do not let the world change that." 2 days later, she passed away in her sleep. Amoka became an orphan for the second time. The villagers gathered again, this time for Mama Nkechi's burial. Amoka stood by the grave, tears rolling down her cheeks. She had no family left. Some families offered to take her in, but not for love, for help in the farm or house. Amoka knew she would not be safe in some of those homes. One night, she packed a small bag, took the little money left from her grandmother's basket, and left the village quietly. She walked for hours through forest paths, her heart full of fear and hope. She arrived in a town called Mero. It was busy and full of noise. People rushed everywhere. Amoka had never seen so many cars, shops, and buildings. She found a corner near the market where she slept on a piece of cardboard. During the day, she helped traders carry goods, wash plates at a food stall, and sweep shop fronts. Some gave her coins or leftover food. It was a hard life, but she refused to steal. "I must survive, but not by doing wrong," she told herself every day. One afternoon, a kind woman named Madam Ifeoma noticed her. She owned a small restaurant and saw how Amoka worked hard without complaint. "Come here, girl," she said. "What is your name?" Amoka told her everything. Madam Ifeoma's eyes softened. "You remind me of myself when I was young," she said. That day, she gave Amoka food and a place to sleep in the small store behind her restaurant. "You will work, but you will also go back to school," she said. Amoka could not believe it. She wept at night, not from sorrow, but from hope. Amoka started attending a nearby public school. It was crowded and noisy, but she didn't mind. She sat in front as always and listened carefully. In the evenings, she helped Madam Ifeoma cook and serve customers. Slowly, she began to smile again. She made new friends at school, including a boy named Ebuka who loved drawing. He often gave her funny sketches of herself as a superhero nurse. They laughed a lot, and for the first time in years, Amoka felt like a child again. When Amoka turned 18, she sat for her WAEC exams. She studied every night with a small torch and old textbooks from the church. Madam Ifeoma cheered her on every step. When the results came out, Amoka had the best scores in her school. The whole community celebrated. From the streets to success, one newspaper wrote after a local journalist shared her story. People from all over the state sent in donations to help her continue her education. She received a scholarship to study nursing at the state college. Nursing school was tough. The books were big, the exams harder, and sometimes she felt like giving up. But Amoka remembered her grandmother's words, Mama Nkechi's gentle smile, and the children she had helped during the village fever. She pushed through every test. She learned to give injections, take blood pressure, and care for patients with love and patience. Her classmates admired her strength, but no one knew the pain behind her quiet eyes. During her final year, she was posted to a village hospital for practical training. It was not far from Ojo. When she arrived, she saw the same red earth, the same farms, and familiar faces. People from her village had heard of Nurse Amoka. Many came to thank her, especially the old nurse Ada, who had retired. "You made it, child," she said. Amoka smiled and held her hands. "I'm only just beginning." Years passed. Amoka finished school and returned to Mbero, where she opened a small clinic with help from Madam Ifeoma and others who believed in her. She treated children, mothers, and old people. No one was turned away, even if they couldn't pay. People traveled from other towns just to see the nurse with a kind heart. She also visited schools, telling children her story. "Your past does not decide your future," she said. "What you do today does." One evening, Amoka stood outside her clinic as the sun set. She saw a little girl carrying her baby brother, just like she once had. She smiled and waved. The girl smiled back. Amoka knew the journey had not been easy, but she had made it. From a small village to the streets, from tears to triumph, Amoka had turned pain into purpose. And now, she helped others do the same.